Turn me up.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Merry Bunch podcast. I'm Brianna,
Nico,
Crystal,
Chris,
Keonda,
William,
and we are the bunch. On this episode called The Blessing of Marriage with the Mckinneys, marriage is a blessing if you consciously choose to see the blessing in your circumstance. In this episode, the bunch talks with the Mckinneys about how the opportunity to share your life's joys and sorrows with someone is a special and unique journey. The Mckinneys reminisce about their love story and discuss how it has propelled their marriage ministry. Y'all, let's welcome the Mckinneys.
Hey, how you doing?
hey,
hello.
All right. Well, welcome to the Merry Bunch podcast. So the first section is going to be talking about basically about your backstory, your love story. So, Key, talk a little bit how you know the McKinneys.
Oh, this is family. Yeah, my grandmother and her dad were sisters and brothers, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And then Nico.
Yes, family. Been knowing them all my life, and then my mom's is good friends with Michael's sister,
Yeah.
so it's all the way around.
Yep. Small circle. All right. So let's get into it. So let's get a little background on the McKinneys. How long have you guys been married, and how did you guys meet?
28 years. Soon to be 29.
Oh wow,
That's awesome.
September of 1995, we got married. We met actually a year before that, in 1994. I was working for Cooper Tools, and a friend of Angie's introduced us. And our first date was supposed to be church, but I had such a game she couldn't wait. So she brought me
him
lunch.
at that Sunday, but I actually wanted to get with him on that Friday and meet him face to face.
So I was working second shift, and she brought me lunch. So,
Oh.
yeah.
nice.
So, what made you fall in love with each other then? After meeting, was it love at first sight? Like, how did that come about?
Well, Michael, you need to go ahead and say, because you was like, you knew I was your wife, so you can go ahead and say all that.
Okay. Well, I was at a point in my life where I was ready for a change, and I had a pretty fulfilled life, I guess you would say. And but I still was missing something. I was in the church, changing my life for the better, and I was just honest with God. I said I need two things. One was I grew up in the hip hop generation, and I'm like a great grandfather when it comes to that. So I've always been into beats and music, and so I told God straight up, I was like, I gotta have some music, because I missed Tupac and Biggie. I missed that whole scene because I had to step away from that because of the lifestyle that I was living. Mm-hmm. And so he introduced me to Cross Movement and Angie.
Nice.
And we've been together ever since.
What was the second thing you said you needed?
A woman.
You were ready
That's
to
why I
settle
said
down.
Angie.
But you didn't say the second
Right,
thing.
yeah.
She said,
But that
"Make
was
it
my
clear."
second thing. I had to tell God straight up, because that was something that was I just felt like I needed companionship. So, and he introduced us.
Nice.
So, how old were you guys when you guys met then?
I was. Well, you gotta talk some.
Let's see. We got married when I was 25, so 24. I was 24 and you was like maybe I was 24 and you were maybe like
35. No.
No, you weren't that old.
33. 33.
All right. Okay. Somewhere. We're 9 years apart, actually.
Right.
Oh,
We're
Okay.
9 years apart. So,
Okay.
yeah.
A little under 9 years, but close to it.
Right.
okay.
All right. So those qualities that you fell in love with, do you still see those qualities today in each other? And what are some of those qualities that you admire about your spouse?
Yes, I definitely see those qualities and more qualities in Michael now. One, like he said, when we met, he had game, and he was saying everything that I wanted to hear at that time, and he was smooth with it, and what he was saying was totally different from what the other guys were saying that I was seeing or kind of dating at that time. So and he wasn't forceful or anything like that, so yeah, I definitely see really admire those qualities he had then, and I admire the qualities that he has grown into today as well.
And I can agree. Some of the qualities that Angie had when we first met were some of the things that I was looking for in a mate. And since then, like she said, we've discovered new qualities in each other. And we complement each other in a lot of the things that we do. And I guess because 28 years will cause you to grow together. Mm-hmm. And so we've grown together. So some of the things that I might think are totally off from what she might think.
Yes. Yeah, we both of us, he thinks different than the way that I think. So, and it complements, we
And it comes
complement
from
one
us
another.
growing up different because
Yes.
my mom gave us complete freedom. I would leave home at like 10 in the morning. I might not be home until dark,
Right.
Oh,
And in the summertime, that's like a 10, 12-hour day
Oh, yeah.
where, she was completely different. At 18, I left home. Or 19, I left home and joined the Navy. And 20, I was in Tokyo, Japan,
Oh,
So,
wow.
and she hadn't even really been out of North Carolina much
Right.
when we first met. So
Right.
I was a explorer.
Yes.
And she was able to, willing to take that ride with me. So
Nice. So who said I love you first?
she did. Nah, I probably said it first. Just because of where I was at the time, and so I probably said it first.
Is that true?
It's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because she was just so hard because she was like, had just been treated kind of bad, so she was just like reluctant to just say that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
because it was just so like, oh, I'm getting too affectionate, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's do it.
Not the sexual thing. When he say let's do it, not the sexual thing, because I mean that was not, to be honest, that was not on our radar when we were dating in the beginning. It was not on our radar at all, the sexual stuff. It was because we had did all that in past relationships and things like that. We were on a new thing now when we started dating. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up.
So you guys kind of answered this earlier. So how long did you date before you became engaged? Did you say a year before?
Yeah, I met Angie in July 15th.
Yeah, he remembers all the dates. He remembers all the dates. But yes, we met July 15th, and February 14th is when he proposed to me.
Yeah.
So within like 6 months, he proposed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it was because, like I said earlier, it's where we were in our relationship or with God, because it was time for me, and Angie has always been a very serious kind of person. You know that. Y'all both know that. So she won't messing around at her age, where I was like completely different at that age. So.
Yeah.
So when you guys got engaged, and before you got married, did you do any like premarital counseling or anything to prepare for the marriage?
Yes, we did. We did with my pastor of Christian Home, Reverend Dr. Gibson, and it was the best counseling ever. I mean, he opened our eyes to a lot of things that we didn't even think about. Talking about in-laws, talking about family celebrations, all kinds of stuff. He opened our eyes to a lot of things that we, didn't even think that we would encounter. But it was a great premarital counseling.
Oh, nice.
And do you suggest that couples should do that when getting engaged and about to get married?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely,
yes.
yeah. Because it just helps to help you see that person in a different light, so that you can really make a sound decision, good decision.
Yeah.
So I know you guys talked about church and your faith a lot. How did that play into dating and your marriage?
Well, because we, thank God, we had the same faith and the same commitment to the Lord. It was easy. It was easy for us to, do the, worship God and the church work that we were doing and stuff like that. It was easy because we were, all on the same playing field. We had the same goal, and we were all on different ministries and everything at the church, but everything just worked itself out as far as just being busy. We were always very busy in the church, so and it definitely helped our faith and helped our relationship as well.
Yeah, and I remember a question talking about ministry and how important that is. To work in ministry together, and we worked in youth ministry because our kids was small, and it helped out a bunch. Yeah. Because we was getting the same kind of teaching. So.
So did you guys both desire to get married, and did you grow up with marriage in your household?
I always desired to be married. Like when I graduated, I thought that I was going to get married, and thank God it didn't work out. But I always, that was my goal. My goal was to get married. It wasn't to go to college or anything like that. It was to get married. But I didn't get married. We didn't get married until I was 25. But that was always in my eyesight to get married. And what was that other question?
Did you grow up with seeing a marriage in the household?
Okay, my mom and dad was married, but what I witnessed was not a healthy marriage, but there were people around me that I looked to and I admired their marriage or whatever, but everybody's marriage is different. And even those people that I looked at or looked towards, I picked a little bit of this and a little bit of that the way that I wanted to see my marriage. Right. But I did grow up in a 2-parent household, but it was unhealthy marriage that I witnessed in the household. So.
And I grew up with a 2-parent household too. My father, he left when I was 16. He moved away, and my parents got a divorce. So my goal was to never be like my dad as far as marriage. So they were married 19 years. So I said, I got to be at least married 20. and now we on 28. So.
I know that's right.
But that was a goal for me.
Right.
You know, it was like, okay, I'm not. I mean, and I honor my dad because I mean he was like there for me, like growing up. You know, I played a lot of sports, and he was always there, every game, everything. And then at 16, you know, they separated and divorced. So I was kind of pissed with him for a long time, you know, because I was like, how you do that to us? You know? But later we made it up. But he died in 1988. So that was a big deal. But yeah. And then all my great aunts and uncles, they were married with their spouses. And what is it? 7, 9, 10 of my mom's brothers and sisters, and they were all married.
Oh, wow.
Maybe one or two. Yeah. And some of them are still married now, so I'm looking at 50 and 60-year marriages and stuff.
Wow.
That's a blessing.
And something I can say also about Michael, you know, being that he didn't see that type of marriage in his household or his dad, you know, treating his mom a certain way. I'm like, how do you know how to, you know, do this? How do you know how to, you know, treat me and this, that, and the other, you know, which is a blessing because he's just so gentle, you know, in our relationship and everything. I'm like, how do you know, all of these different things? But it's
side point today.
Certainly God.
Yeah, side point today, like she's doing this craft thing and selling Mother's Day gifts, right? And she get home and she like, we got to unload the vehicle. And she like, I don't need your... Because I'm fussing, right? You know, it's that relationship, and you guys understand it. But, you know, it's times when you get to fussing with each other. And she said, she looked at me, I don't need your help to unload this truck, right? But she got to go up and down about 7 steps about 20 times. And we just started laughing at each other like, oh yeah, you need my help. Yeah, I do.
Exactly. That's funny.
So you got to have those funny moments. It's great to laugh with each other, you know, and don't get so caught up on what you said and you did and you didn't do, and that mess is, you know, we grown folks. You know? Grown folks handle business.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, y'all. So we're gonna move into the early years. So you might have to think back a little bit. Did your relationship change after getting married, or do you feel like it changed, or did it stay the same?
I think that it stayed. It changed for the better. It changed for the better, I think. Yeah, as far as like, communication and being transparent about things, it changed for the better, I think.
Yeah, we had to make some adjustments. We had, when we first got together, because I was like I didn't really want to control the money. I had Angie controlling the money, and she had no experience in dealing with, paying bills and just finances in general.
I had experience because I had, my little bills that I, before we got married, the little bills that I had, and we pay bills totally different. That's the thing. We pay bills totally different. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm aggressive. So if it's something, it's a credit card that need to be paid off, I'm trying to pay it off. Right. And she paying the minimum. So at first she was taking care of all of our household bills and everything, but then as time went on, I took over.
Gotcha.
Because I had a better sense of what was urgent and just more experience in dealing with that kind of thing.
Right.
Which is great because the way when he did take over, it was just totally amazing because and the reason I took care of the bills in the beginning was because I told him, I was like, you were just living life like a wild animal or something out here, I mean, he just didn't care about anything. So that's why I took care of the bills when we first got married and everything, because I had a better control of it.
She just didn't trust me.
I didn't. To be honest, I didn't.
Trust me.
I did not, because
Which I was okay with that because I didn't trust me.
Yeah, they be like that sometimes.
Yeah, so maybe about 7 years into the marriage,
No, it wasn't that long.
It
Probably
wasn't.
about 3.
Okay, about 3. Then I relinquished it to him, and I absolutely loved how he took control of it, and we had more free money than we did when I was taking care of the bills, because yeah, it was much better when he started taking care of the bills.
Okay, nice. So speaking of bills and finances, do you feel like you were financially ready for marriage and children? And do you feel like you have to have it all together when you actually get married?
No, you won't have it all together.
Right.
Yeah, because you would think you got it laid out, but you won't have it all together.
No.
Things fall in place, and then, you got to understand that God is taking you to a place that you've never been before. So if you just accept His leadership, then you'll be okay.
Amen.
And we did plan for our first and second child. We did plan for our first child, which was like 2 years after we got married, and then about 18 months after he was born, Keith was born, we had Savannah. So we did plan both our children. And I feel like we were, financially ready, had insurance and all that in place, for when we had children as well.
Nice. So with all that being said, what advice would you give to your newlywed self?
Our newlywed self.
Go. Yeah.
Just relax and enjoy the ride. Relax. Don't be so uptight, because when we first got married, I was super spiritual. I was super religious, and everything had to be just straight. Everything was super religious and straight and spiritual, but just loosen up, have fun, and enjoy the ride in your marriage. Don't be so uptight, and just live and enjoy one another.
Yeah. And
Michael used to call me
holier than thou.
Yes.
Holier than thou. Like, girl, you need to relax.
Yes.
And I'm going to help you relax. Whether you want to relax.
That's a good one. Okay, so is there anything from the early stages of marriage you struggled with that got better with time, and how did you overcome that?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is married bunch, right?
It is. You don't have to go into too much detail, whatever you want to tell us.
So affection was a big thing for me, because I was very affectionate, and I wanted to have that shown back to me, and at times it wasn't, and I was like, that was kind of something that I had to get over, and as time went on, of course, it changed a bunch, but that was a big thing for me. Yeah.
And we talked about this, and it was especially when we first had our children, that this is the time that you're talking about, right? You know, and you know, we as moms, we're just busy doing everything.
Mom stuff.
Yes, mom stuff.
No
And-
husband stuff.
Right, right.
We'll go to bed.
What? No.
But then years later, there was a lesson to be learned that you learned in that as well. That you said, you know, you be glad to share with other young men that are in marriages. You know, because really understanding that as a mother, that's, you know, what a mother. Come on. Remember, you said that's something that you would let them know. You know that. Dude, you know what I'm talking about.
He said, I remember.
Okay, this was a lesson he said that he learned, you know, years ago, how he would let other young men know about, you know, when you have kids, you may not get that affectionate.
Okay.
Affection because, you know, she's so busy you know, we're just busy so doing everything, you know, and can't really tend to your needs, you know, the way that you want to say it.
Go ahead. No, you doing a good job. But yes, yeah, just the whole relationship needs, you know, and you know, she's so busy being a mother that she didn't, you know, it was like, oh, I forgot almost, you know. But, you know, it was something that had to happen in the relationship in order for it to continue to be strong.
Right.
Yeah.
Bring it around town.
And you know, I had to be sometimes like, okay, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, because you could create arguments, confrontation, you know. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Good answer. So what is something you've done early in your marriage that really has made a difference in your marriage currently? What makes your marriage works?
well, I think it's because we talked about this a little bit too, confrontational, you know, and we were saying, well, we are not really confrontational, meaning that, you know, if something come up, you just gonna dwell on it for like weeks and months at a time versus just, okay, see that it's a time to let it go. And just be willing to do that.
Right.
Because, you know, sometimes you want to stand your ground and it's not really worth it.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
You know, you minoring on the majors instead of majoring on the minors.
Right.
Right.
Definitely. So if you could change anything different, what would you do as far as like in the earlier times when y'all were married? When y'all got married, excuse me.
I don't think I would change anything because everything worked together, you know, to make us strong to where we are now. You know, we had to go through everything that we went through to get to where we are now. So I don't think I would change anything.
And one thing she always wanted to say she wanted to change was she wanted to know more about my past.
Oh yes, we
Because
need
she
to
was
talk
like,
about
I
that.
just needed to know more about what was going on with you. And I'm like, you can't handle it. And really she can't. But I mean, because I started out 20. I'm in 19. I'm in Tokyo, Japan.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I done lived some life.
Right,
You know, I done
right.
been to several countries. And so some of the things that,
Wild and out.
you know, I said,
On that Nick Cannon.
exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
So some of the things I would tell her, she couldn't even imagine, you know. So,
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And he would always say, you know, when I'm like, you know, tell me about this, tell me about that. He's like, you can't handle it. You can't handle it right now. And that used to burn me up. I mean, it used to burn me up, you know, but, you know, just in time, you know, I got to know the things that I needed to know in time, you know, so.
gradually,
Yeah.
because I mean, you just think about it. If you know everything, possibly dating or married to, that's gonna be a problem.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. It would definitely turn you off, from that person if you know up front everything. And I understand that, Yeah.
All right, so you guys talked a little bit about children. Do you think having children has an effect on the marriage, and why?
It does. Good and bad. Good and bad. I'd say good because, it definitely brings a couple together when you're having children. And, the negative aspect or whatever is, yes, you do have to spend, balance your time, between your spouse and your children, so that's why I say bad, but it's not bad though. It's balanced. It's balanced.
And I think having children do create a bond, but it's not necessary. If you want to have a strong relationship, you can work on that and make it strong. You don't have to have, because some people feel like, well, we got to have kids to make it a bond, and you don't have to. If you committed to each other, you can just be committed to each other. And
Right.
it's gonna make it a lot easier than them empty nester years.
Exactly. So, what would you say your parenting styles are? And do they still have to be the same? Completely different.
Completely different.
Yep. I'm a authoritarian parenting style is my style, and he's a more relaxed type of.
Get the job done. Get it done, and I don't care how you do it. Just get it done.
All right.
And don't give me a whole bunch of pushback if I tell you this is how you need to get it done. Just understand that's the way you need to get it done.
Right.
And do it. And don't procrastinate, because that's something that I do. And so I can identify that pretty easily.
Gotcha.
Did you all have like conflict with that? Like the kids knowing like, oh, he the easier one or she the easier one, and try to play out?
Yes.
They would come to me and say, "Hey, Dad, can I do no?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then they'll go and say, "Well, Daddy said I can do it." He said, "What?" They'll just go crazy on that, But they always came to me for hard decisions, and now they come to me because I'm an advisor now. So now they come to me for financial things. They don't talk to me about personal stuff. Like her and Savannah can get on the phone and talk for 30 minutes, and me and Savannah talk for 5.
And she calls me every day. Every day.
That's good though.
That is good.
So, what advice have you given your kids about love and marriage?
Yeah, we were talking about this on the way here. The advice that I give my kids about love and marriage is make sure you love yourself. Love yourself first, because that will show others how they are to treat you. And, recognize when you're giving more love to your partner than they're giving back to you. It should be a balance as far as giving and taking, and you're not giving it all, and they're not giving you what you need. As far as showing love.
But don't hold them to that, because they might not know how to show you the love that you might be used to receiving. Your mom or dad or whoever might have really loved you in a way that's hugging on you and just being affectionate or saying I love you, because some black dads, we never say that to our kids. So it just really depends. So
Yeah.
But don't hold them to it. Yeah. Don't.
Right. And we were talking about that, same thing on the way here, and we were talking about the 5 love language book, showing your significant other, what you're needing, the needs that you're needing or whatever, in order to show that they love you, or you show them that you love them because of the specific need that they're needing in order to show love. You know, so being understanding those 5 love languages.
But just remember, they may not have come out of a household
Right.
that kind of affection was shown.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So just remember that.
Okay. So when it comes to communication, how do you build healthy communication? Listening to hear versus listen to respond.
A little bit of both. And I say that because, sometimes you do need it, because Angie brought up a good point on the way here. Sometimes you do need to listen to respond. But you don't always need to listen to respond, because then you already got your mind made up.
Right.
No matter what they say, you got your response.
Yeah.
So you do need to listen to respond correctly.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's something that, it comes with time.
Yeah. And listening to hear, because, when you're having a conversation and if you're listening to hear, then, your spouse may be saying something that you need to keep and hold on to that they're saying, to understand what they're going through, or to understand them better, because you're just listening to what they're saying at that time.
And you already got your mind made up on what you're going to say.
Yeah.
So, that's being confrontational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ain't trying to resolve anything. You just trying to get your point across. And when you stand in marriage, when you do it like that, you headed for destruction.
Yeah.
You got to be understanding and open to receive what the other person is saying.
Exactly. So
I
speaking
don't
of,
always,
I'm sorry.
As far as confrontational, when we do get into little arguments or spats or whatever, I don't always, listen to what, I have my own, way of doing things or whatever, so when he says something, I'm like, okay, well, I'm still going to do it my own way, so.
That sounds familiar.
It be like that sometimes.
It does. Yep, I got my own mind. I'm capable. I can do this.
I do it.
But eventually,
Yes.
And then when you make that mess, like financial things, I'm like, honey, you did what? We got to blow a gasket.
Get off my back. Get off my back.
So speaking of being mad, how do you feel about going to bed mad?
We try not to go to bed mad, but about a month ago, we did go to bed mad. I did. I went to bed mad.
I don't go to bed, man.
I did.
He might be mad, but I
He
always
made me
mad.
mad and angry, and I just went to bed. Oh, I remember. I can't remember the exact thing, but I remember that night when I did just went to bed, because he just got on my last nerve. So I just went to bed and fell asleep or whatever. But we try not to never do that. But we did about a month or two ago.
No, she did. I don't go to bed mad. I'm like, okay, I'm just go to sleep. I used to go to bed mad when we was like 10 years in. 28 years in, man, I'm going to sleep.
I know that's right. You can be mad. I'm going to bed.
Exactly, that's right. You can be mad, but I'm straight. I'm going to sleep.
It is what it is.
all right. So, are you guys open to admitting when you're wrong, or is it hard for you to admit when you're wrong?
Yeah, we do that often. I mean, she did it today when she was like, I don't need your help. So
Yeah,
we admit that we wrong all the time.
Yeah.
And we laugh at it. That's
Yeah.
the good thing about it,
That's a great thing.
Easier now than whenever.
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
It's-
definitely.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, much easier.
Definitely.
So what helps you to love the other person when you are mad at them?
Well, I really don't get mad at him too often,
Okay.
to where I don't love him. And when we were thinking about this question, something that did come to our mind, we had a couples fellowship the other week, and the first lady gave us this question. Well, she was talking about, liking your spouse. A lot of people don't like their spouse, and when you really like your spouse, you can love your spouse. When
That's good.
you accept everything, that comes along with them.
Right.
When you like them and you're able to love them easier. Because it's hard to like people, it's very
You
hard
say
to
that
like,
again.
certain people. But
Yes.
when you
A
really
lot of people.
yeah. So when you really like your spouse, then it is easy to love them.
Which makes our time now, because we empty nesters and stuff. So,
Yes.
like last night we was laughing.
We just having a good
And
time.
we just sitting there listening to music. I'm looking at the NBA and we just talking and laughing and like giggling.
having a good old time.
Yeah.
Well, that's right.
So-
go ahead, babe.
Okay. So when you are talking to other couples or even in your own relationship, what are some things you say helps with effective communication?
The part about that you all said earlier about listening to
Listening to hear
listening to hear
versus listening to respond.
versus listening to respond. Yes, so definitely, just listening to your spouse. Like I said, when they do speak, just listen to what they have to say, because they're trying to convey something about what's going on with them, or what they're thinking at the time. So really paying attention and listening to what they have to say, because sometimes it's a hidden message, or sometimes it's just something they want to just get off their chest. So,
Right. We're going to move on to the third topic. This is marriage as a blessing. How can marriage be a blessing?
I think marriage is a blessing because two are better than one. Like our shirts say, two are better than one, because some people can go through life being alone, and some people have to go through life, they go through life always wanting, a soulmate or a spouse or a partner or whatever. So, just two people are better than one, to get the job done, whether it's, in companionship or financially or whatever,
And it's biblical. I mean, God noticed it in the Garden of Eden. He said it's not good that man should be alone. So that's when he created woman. So so he recognized it, and it's it helps you mentally too.
Right.
So.
And with that being said, what do you think is your biggest strength as a couple?
Oh, that's a good question.
What did we say?
I think the communication part is what we were saying, but it was another part to it. Not only the communication, but it was confrontation. The confrontation.
I think one of our biggest strengths is not being confrontational and understanding each other and saying, okay, maybe I'm wrong in the way that I'm thinking about this, and move on with it instead of just dwelling on it day after day after day.
Right.
Which creates a big old mess.
Yeah. Definitely. So in your marriage, what's the most common misconception from people about your marriage that you feel?
Not about their marriage, but about marriage
Oh,
in
marriage
general.
in general. I'm sorry.
Because a lot of
Excuse
times
me.
people, especially these days, when I get married, right? So what do you think that misconception is of marriage?
Everything is going to be good. We in love, and we're going to be fine together, and we're never going to have a disagreement or an argument or a fear, which create arguments. So you got to be open to that and just know that it's not going to be, and I'm not going to be able to change him. He is who he is.
Right.
And he can change himself, but I can't change him.
Right.
Or I can't change her. So And if you open to that, then I think you're on the way.
That's good.
And I would say one of the misconceptions about marriage is when people say, about the what's that word? What's that word? We were talking about it earlier.
Confrontation.
No, being submissive. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Being submissive. That when women are submissive, they gotta do what the husband say, and they don't have a mind or a brain to think and do for themselves or whatever. Everything has to be one way, what he says and things like that. But a lot of people think that that's the way that marriage should be. Being submissive is just that. You don't have a say for yourself. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so are you saying like people think that way, but marriage is not that way? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Marriage is working together.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's working together.
Working together and not
agreeing.
being like subjective to one another.
Right.
You gotta be okay. We on the equal playing field.
Yes. Yes.
So my thoughts count as much as yours, and
Right.
I gotta respect you for that
Yeah.
because you didn't grow up like I grew up. So,
Yeah. We all different.
Yeah.
yeah.
So thinking back, all right, or it could be something now. What's your favorite memory since being married? If you were to choose one.
My favorite memory is, I was fine just staying in North Carolina, traveling. I didn't have no desire to do any traveling or anything in my life. But being that Michael is, a world traveler, he likes to go all the time, go and do, and he's adventurous, so he has imparted that into me and my kids, so that's a memory or thing that we do now is he has introduced us into traveling and things like that. So, and we some years ago we flew to Las Vegas and then we drove to California, so we could see the sights and all that kind of stuff. And that was one of my favorite memories since we've been married.
Yeah, we had this thing about every vacation we always would do two things. So we decided to go to Vegas one year, and we was like, well, what we gonna do with the rest of the time? Because we was doing a timeshare thing. And Savannah was like, let's drive to California. And I was like, yeah, let's drive to California. So we drove to California. And then I told Angie, I said, look, you see that point there? It's like, that's 15 miles. Because we was on a straightaway. And she was like, nah, that ain't 15 miles. And I said, look at this speedometer. Sure enough, it was 15 miles. She said, how'd you know that? I was in the Navy. And the horizon meets the water. That's 15 miles. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna try that.
You're gonna be like, that's 35.
Exactly.
But do you have a memory? That was my memory.
Oh,
She
yeah.
said, get a new memory.
Well, my favorite memory was when we went on honeymoon and we was at Virginia Beach, and I spent a lot of time at Virginia Beach, and we got to take the photos and where you look in the little thing, and we still got
Y'all
those
don't know anything
things.
about that, do you? The little
Like
thing.
telescope? Kind of
It's
look like a
Yeah, the
telescope?
little
Like
mini
maybe a little
telescope.
bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a fond memory of mine because we still have those things. And
Memories,
just to
yes.
look at us and like, wow,
Yeah.
how young we look.
Yes. So what advice would you give to people about finding a mate?
I would say find somebody that is that you can see could be compatible, and in doing that, you're gonna see that you're not gonna know everything, but that would be a good place to start, I think.
And I would say you know, how a lot of women have those lists. What are those lists called?
The list.
The list.
But it's a name. It's one of the biblical women names in the Bible. It's a list, but they have this list of everything that they want to see in a mate, you know, and people that they come across or whatever. They don't have everything on this list. Oh, they're not for me or whatever. So just relax and just go with the flow. And you know, God is definitely gonna send you who is compatible to you, who He has for you. You know, don't just limit it to a list of the, you know, checking off this, that, and the other of you know, people that come across your path.
And the longer the list, the harder the search.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
that's good. I like
Because
what you're saying.
I mean, you think about it. You know, you got all these things that you got to check off, and then you're gonna be like, "Well, didn't get that one." Now you got to settle for certain things.
Yeah.
When you say, "Are we compatible?" and then different events show you that you're compatible. Yeah.
Definitely. So what's the best thing about being married, and what have you learned from your spouse?
I tell Angie all the time that she's my best friend, and she be like, "I ain't your best friend, I'm your wife."
She don't like that.
But I say that because I like doing stuff with her.
Oh yeah.
Even though she don't like doing a lot of stuff, but I like doing stuff with her and saying, like, "Come on, let's do this. Let's go here. Let's go to the baseball game." And she's like, "Baseball game?" And I'm like, "We just hanging out. We just doing something, you know." And I love doing it with her. And I don't know if I wanted to do it with even my friends that I have now. I don't think I would want to hang out with them like I hang out with her.
Even though, you know, he has his life and I have mine, you know, and I do certain things, you know, with you know, my people or whatever, and he does too, you know, but we do really enjoy spending time together, especially being empty nesters and just, you know, just doing things together. I really enjoy doing things with Michael when we go, you know, to concerts or baseball game or basketball game or whatever. You know, he likes golfing. I like crafting and doing things like that. You know,
Right.
so yeah, he has he has a life and I have a life as well. But when we come together, we do enjoy being together and doing things together.
Oh yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
So speaking of empty nesters, let's talk about like how it is. So how do you maintain a marriage once the kids are grown?
We love it. We absolutely love it. We started it before they actually were out of the house and everything. When they came back home from college, we like, oh, they are intruding in our space now, you know. But we absolutely love it now. We really do.
Sorry, Savannah and Keith.
They cannot wait to hear this.
But yeah, empty nesting is sometimes it's lonely because she'll be in her room doing her thing and I'll be in my room doing my thing. So we like completely separate from each other. But we come together and talk and laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, would you say was anything you had to prepare for with the kids leaving the house? Or did y'all prepare for it or just kind of enter into it?
Because we had heard other couples say that they were not ready for that stage of their life, I think we prepared for it because we start spending more time together when they were, you know, in college or, you know, just out with their friends or whatever. We spent time together, you know, before they even, you know, were out of the house or whatever. So I think we prepared for it because we started spending more time together. It wasn't about the kids anymore. It was more about, you know, us being together.
Yeah, I agree.
So, how do you grow a relationship year after year? You guys are 20 plus in. So how do you continue to grow that?
Just continue to do different things, new things, trying new things, and I think that's the biggest part. Just trying new things and exploring new ways of doing things.
Like now we're on a different eating different eating habits now, and Monday through Thursday we don't eat anything but vegetables, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we incorporate a meat into our diet and stuff. And so, that's something that we agreed that we were going to do together, and it's been very
and that's
beneficial.
important. Do stuff together, where it's not just like going somewhere together, say, hey, let's cut back here or do something, just something different, where you can hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
Right. So, in your eyes, how do you think marriage today is different from marriage in the past, or is it different? Do y'all feel like it's different?
Marriage in general?
Yeah, marriage in general.
I don't really think it's different. I think it's what you make of it. Because everybody have their own idea about what marriage is. So I think if you see yourself doing it a different way, or just trying to stay together, because that's the number one thing, try to stay together. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's different. I just think it's how much effort do you want to put into it?
Right.
Do you want to be on your third marriage at 40? Or do you want to say, I'm going to stick it out 10 more? Or 5 more, or whatever you need to set for yourself. But, just don't give up at the first win.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. I think marriage in the past was so different than a lot of marriages now, because there were gender roles. The woman did a lot of stuff in the house, and the man did, the working on the outside and different things like that. Now it's more, coming together, and we're working together to, get to the goal that we're trying to get to, and everything, financial wise or whatever. But we're working together, as a couple. Versus, the gender roles of the man and the woman back in the day. Yeah.
So, why are you all passionate about the marriage ministry?
I'm very passionate about the marriage ministry because it's a lot of things that I've learned and a lot of ways that I have grown, and I want to impart it into whoever, I can impart, whoever is a listening ear, that I can impart it into, so that maybe they will not have to run into roadblocks that could have been foreseen in their marriages or whatever. As long as they have a listening ear and want to try different and new things, maybe I can say something to impart into them a better way to maneuver their marriage, and to have them to understand what marriage is and how your marriage can be. Like I said, all marriages are different, but if they can see something before they actually get to that point, then, hopefully we have helped them in some kind of way.
And we've had a lot of experience with marriage ministry. Not only do it help you to grow, as a married couple, just by working in that ministry, because you got to work together on things. And working together on anything is going to be a good thing for a married couple.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
That's good. Well, before we close out, do you guys have any last words that you would like to share with the Merry Bunch and the listeners?
First, I'd like to say thank you guys for inviting us. These were some really good questions.
Yes.
It made us think a lot about the past 28 years,
Yes.
soon to be 29.
Yeah.
And just to be thankful for us being able to make it that long.
Yes. Yes.
Because it won't easy, and I'm sure that's like a cliche and people say that all the time, but It really won't.
Right.
You know, sometimes you had to rebuke yourself. That's keeping it 100.
Exactly.
So, and just be willing to do that, and you'll make it. You'll make it as a married couple.
That's good.
And always, don't be too prideful to ask for help in your marriage. Someone, or another married couple that you trust, like you got the married bunch. This is a wonderful group that you guys have here. But just don't be too prideful to, not ask, for advice on situations that you may be going through, to where you want to just give up, in your marriage or whatever. Don't be too prideful not to ask for help.
Mm.
Right.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, that's good. Well, the bunch, let's thank the McKinneys for coming on.
Yeah,
Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for coming. We really enjoyed all your little tidbits and little nuggets that you dropped with us. So, just to close out, the bunch, remember,
The
wedding is only the beginning.